Sometimes your joy is the source of your smile, but sometimes your smile can be the source of your joy. With this thought, I welcome you, my dear Glorians of Standard 10th, to another class of science. Greetings of the day and a hearty welcome. We are on the last session of effects of electric current. In the previous class, we learnt that a current carrying conductor placed in a magnetic field experiences a force. The direction of this force is given by Fleming's left-hand rule. We also learnt the construction and working of an electric motor, and we also learnt that electric motor converts electrical energy into mechanical energy. Here is a solenoid, a coil of many turns of insulated copper wire wrapped in the shape of a cylinder. The two ends of a solenoid are connected to the galvanometer. A galvanometer is a device that measures the magnitude of electric current passing through this solenoid. It can also show the direction of the current. As you can see, here the reading is 0. When the needle deflects on one side, it shows the direction of the current and it will also show the reading of current. The deflection on the other side of 0 shows that the direction of current has changed, and it will also show the reading of current. Thus, the galvanometer pointer deflects on both the sides of the 0 mark depending on the direction of the current. What will happen if the magnet is moved in and out of the solenoid? Now remember, this solenoid is not connected to a battery, so there cannot be any current that is flowing through the solenoid. But if this magnet is moved in and out of the solenoid, then there will be a current flowing through this solenoid. The current produced in this solenoid is called as induced current. Michael Faraday was the first to observe this. By moving the magnet in and out of the solenoid, there will be a change in the number of magnetic field lines linked with this solenoid or conductor, and thus a current is induced in the solenoid. Such current is called as induced current, and this phenomenon is called as electromagnetic induction. Deflection in the galvanometer is also seen if the magnet is kept stationary and the solenoid is moved. This means that a current is induced in the solenoid when the magnet is stationary and the solenoid is moving around it. This implies that it is the relative motion between the solenoid and the magnet which produces an induced current, irrespective of whether the magnet moves or the solenoid moves. We will now watch a video on electromagnetic induction.
Let us study electromagnetic induction by changing the magnetic field around a conductor. We have taken a bar magnet, a coil, and a galvanometer. The galvanometer is connected to the coil and is used to detect the current flowing in the conductor. Move the magnet into the coil and carefully observe the galvanometer deflection. As the magnet is moved near the coil, there is a momentary deflection in the galvanometer. As the magnet comes to rest, the deflection of the galvanometer stops. The deflection of the galvanometer indicates that there is some current flowing through the coil. The galvanometer deflects only when the magnet is in motion near the coil. Motion of the magnet is responsible for the changing magnetic field. This changing magnetic field is inducing the current in the conductor. This phenomenon is called electromagnetic induction.
In this experimental setup, we have two stands on which a copper wire is placed. The other ends of the wire are connected to a galvanometer. A magnet is placed just below the wire. Now, initially, we keep the magnet stationary and move the wire from its original position A to the new position B. That is, it is moved to and fro. Before moving this wire, the galvanometer reading is at 0. On moving the wire from A to B, we find that the needle deflects to one side. Why does this happen? This happens because changing the magnetic field lines associated with the conductor, current is induced in the conductor. This is because the conductor was placed near a magnet. So on moving this conductor, we change the magnetic field lines. This current is induced current, and therefore the galvanometer deflects to one side. Now, keeping the wire stationary and moving the magnet, will we get deflection in the galvanometer? Yes. On moving the magnet also, we find that there is a deflection in the galvanometer. This is because on moving the magnet, there is a change in the magnetic field lines associated with the conductor, and this causes current to be induced in the conductor, and thus the galvanometer will deflect to one side. This is Faraday's electromagnetic induction. We now move on to the next experiment, 4.16a and 4.16b. Under try this. Complete the circuit as shown. In this experiment, if we were to open the plug key and make the current 0 in the coil, the pointer of the galvanometer deflects to a side and quickly comes back to 0. If the current in the coil is started again, the pointer again deflects to the other side and then returns quickly to 0. Now, when the electrical current is flowing through the solenoid coil and the solenoid coil is displaced with respect to the coil, the current is still produced in the coil. What can be inferred from these two experiments? Even if the solenoid coil is kept stationary, a change in current in the solenoid coil produces a current in the coil. If the solenoid coil is moved towards or away from the coil, we see a deflection in the galvanometer. Also, the faster is the displacement of the solenoid, larger is the deflection of the galvanometer pointer. If the current in the solenoid coil is changed, a current is produced in the coil, or if the solenoid coil is moved towards the coil, then also a current is produced in the coil. Faraday's law of induction. If a current is switched on or off in the solenoid coil, a current is induced in the coil. Such an induction is also observed when the current in the solenoid coil is increased or decreased. Current is induced in the coil when it is moved aside from front of the solenoid. From these experiments, it is understood that whenever the number of magnetic lines of force passing through the coil changes, current is induced in the coil. This is known as Faraday's law of induction. We just saw that when magnetic lines of force passing through coil changes, current is induced in the coil. The current produced in the coil is called as induced current. When will the induced current in the electrical conductor or coil be maximum? It will be maximum when the direction of the motion of electric conductor or coil is perpendicular to the magnetic field. The direction of induced current can be understood by using Fleming's right-hand rule. Let's understand Fleming's right-hand rule in order to find the direction of induced current. Stretch the thumb, the central finger, and the forefinger of your right hand mutually perpendicular to each other as shown. If the forefinger, that is your index finger, indicates the direction of magnetic field and the thumb indicates the direction of motion of the conductor, then the central finger, which is the middle finger, indicates the direction of induced current. Please note that you have to write induced current. If the word induced is missing, then this rule is meaningless. Please open to page 57 of your textbook and kindly note that this topic is deleted from your present syllabus. Please open to page 59 of your textbook and note that these paragraphs from alternating current and direct current are deleted from your current syllabus. You may be aware that an AC generator is used in house or factory as an alternative source of electricity when the electric supply from mains is not available. An AC generator is a device which converts mechanical energy into electrical energy using the principle of electromagnetic induction. In a generator, a coil is rotated in a magnetic field. Due to rotation, the magnetic field linked with the coil changes, and therefore a current is induced between the ends of the coil. We will now understand the construction and working of an AC generator. Construction of an AC generator. Electric generator works on the principle of electromagnetic induction, and electricity is generated by rotating coil in a magnetic field. Thus, in an electric generator, mechanical energy is used to rotate the coil and mechanical energy gets converted to electrical energy. The important components of an electric generator. It consists of a rectangular coil A, B, C, D, which needs to be rotated in a magnetic field. So we have a permanent magnet And for rotation of coil, it needs to be connected to two separate conducting rings, R1 and R2. And these two rings are connected to an axle. Also, to provide a path for induced current, the two rings R1 and R2 are in contact with two separate conducting brushes, B1 and B2 respectively. Also, a galvanometer, a device which detects the presence of induced current, is connected. This was the construction of an electric generator. Let's understand the working of an AC generator. When the axle attached to the two rings is rotated in such a way that the arm AB moves up and the arm CD moves down in the magnetic field produced by the permanent magnet, then in this case, the coil ABCD is rotated clockwise. Now, by applying Fleming's right-hand rule, we can find the direction of induced current. First, at arm AB, the direction of force is upward. As the arm AB goes up, so the thumb points up. Now the forefinger points the direction of magnetic field, which is from north to south pole. The middle finger shows the direction of induced current, which is from A to B. Now at arm CD, the direction of force is downwards as the arm CD goes down. The thumb points down, which points the direction of force. The forefinger points the direction of magnetic field, which is from north pole to south pole. And the middle finger points the direction of induced current, which is from C to D. Thus, the current in the coil follows the path ABCD, that is from arm AB towards arm CD. This means that the current exits the coil from the brush B2. Thus, the current in the external circuit flows from brush B2 to brush B1. Now, after 1/2 rotation, the arm CD starts moving up and arm AB starts moving down. So, we can see the direction of force has changed. What does this mean? It means that the direction of induced current in both the arms will change. How? By applying Fleming's right-hand rule, we can verify this. First, at arm AB, the direction of force is downward. So the arm AB goes down after half rotation. So the thumb points down, which is the direction of force. The forefinger points the direction of magnetic field, which is from north pole to south pole. And the middle finger points the direction of induced current, which is from B to A. Now at arm CD, the direction of force is up as the arm CD goes up after half rotation. The thumb points up, which is the direction of force. The forefinger points the direction of magnetic field, which is from north pole to south pole. And the middle finger shows the direction of current, which is from D to C. Thus, after half rotation, the current in the coil will follow the path D, C, B, A, which is from arm CD towards arm AB. This also means that the current exits the coil from brush B1. The current in the external circuit follows the path B1 to B2. Thus, we see after every half rotation, the direction of current in the respective arm changes. Such current which changes direction after equal intervals of time is called alternating current. This is abbreviated as AC. So now you may have understood why this device is called an AC generator. With this, we have come to the end of today's session, and thus have completed this chapter. In today's class, we have covered electromagnetic induction, Faraday's law of induction, Fleming's right-hand rule, and electric generator. Before I can take your leave and say goodbye, here is a cartoon to put a smile on your face. Thank you, dear girls, for joining me. Have a wonderful day. God bless you.